Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you today to Creating Cards with Debbie. My name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas. So I'm very glad that you're here today. Be sure you comment when you come on and say hello or say where you're watching me from. And be sure that you like and share the video if you're watching on Facebook. But if you're watching on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button that's right down below. And also click on that little bell and you'll be notified when I'm live. So um, today is July 14th, 2025, and it is a Monday morning. And I'm going to be giving a moment for everybody to get on here to join us before I get started with all of our housekeeping notes and all of our announcements and everything. We've got just a short pile today, so it shouldn't take us very long. All right. So let me go ahead and switch my cameras around here and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, my program has changed its settings a little bit, so I was a little confused there for a moment. Okay. So like I said, I'm creating cards with Debbie, and you can shop for any products that I'm showing today or any paper products that you might be needing for card making, paper crafts, scrapbooking, can all be found in my store, which is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And let me bring that up here for you to see. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. And if you need to email me, you can reach me at creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. And that's also in the description of the video. So if you didn't catch that, you can look back at that. Okay, let me. Okay, good morning from Holland. Wow. What time is it there? We're about 10:30 a.m. here. We're at Central Time. Glad to have you here today. Let me go up here and get this banner off of here. Like I said, they changed my program on here, so I'm struggling with it a little bit until I get used to it. Okay. So today we're going to be doing Halloween in July. I know some demonstrators are doing Christmas in July, but I thought I'd be a little bit different. We've got some new online exclusives, and it has some Halloween things in there that we're going to be using today. But I'll get back to that in just a minute here. Okay. 1,700 hours. Okay, cool. It's fun to see how things are different in different parts of the world. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Paper Pumpkin that just started on the 10th of July, that you can sign up for the August Paper Pumpkin Kit. And it is called Farmhouse Florals. And what that includes is, it says, send whimsical cards featuring flowers nestled in delightfully unexpected places. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with coordinating envelopes. It has pre-cut paper pieces and linen thread, sentiment stamps for the outside and inside of the cards. And the Stampin' Spot that you get with this one is going to be one of our new colors, the Secret Sea. And you also get a free additional stamp set included with this one, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, the camera's not picking it up very well. It's got like some flowery images, I guess, and a little flower pot. Real cute. Okay. And also, don't forget about our last chance products that are in my store. Those are retiring items that they put in there. And once they're gone, they're gone. So you might want to get on those right away if there's something that you've been wanting. And you can find that in my online store. Let me go ahead and get started here. All right, so the bundle we're using today is going to be, like I said, one of those new ones that are in the online exclusives right now. It just came out, I think, the 1st of July. and it's called Spooky Halloween Bundle. You get the stamp set and the dies as a bundle, or you can buy them separately. And that's what we're using today. So very cute. I don't like spooky Halloween. I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I think these are really cute. So happy Halloween, spooky. Don't worry, eat sweets. No tricks, all treats. Very cute. So that also goes along with the designer series paper, which is called Spooky Sweet 12 by 12 inch designer series paper. Let me show those really quick. I'm missing one out of here. We're using that on the card today, so I'll show that in a minute. But it's got this 12 by 12 page, and it's got different pictures on there. You can cut these out and use them for just your card fronts. And this is also interesting too. It'd be cute. And this is the back side. Turn these right side up. Here's the next one. On the back side. I'm using a variety of these today, so you'll get to see them as I'm using them. This one's cute. That's the back side. And this one has some tags that you can cut off of there and some banners. It's got the gray on the back. And these are really cute. Cute little characters, Halloween characters. And orange on the back. And then you've got some punch outs here. And we're using the hippo today. She's really cute, the mummy hippo. And there's some other images on here that are really cute. Those are punch outs. I showed that one already. It's okay. All right. So let's start out with our first one. It's going to be a fun fold. And this is kind of a different idea. I hadn't done this one before. And I got this idea from Rachel Tesman. She's also does some videos every week. And I just kind of copied hers. I just changed the design a little bit. I like the concept of it. Okay, so here's the card front. And it opens. And it's like an accordion on the inside. And it's got a little flap here that opens up. So it says, no tricks, all treats. And then you open it and it says, don't worry, eat sweets. And I kind of smudged my card right there. But we're not going to do that today on ours. Hopefully. So, okay, let me go ahead and get that up for you. Let me put the dimensions up here so you can see as we go. If I can find them again. Well, come on, scroll down for me. There we are. Okay, there it has. We're going to start out with our basic black cardstock, which is going to measure 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And then we're going to score it in the center at 5 1/2 inches. So we're going to burnish that edge. And I'm going to set that aside. And we've got our designer series paper. And you kind of decide which side you want to use. I'm going to use this side of it. So this is 4 inches. Wait, yeah, 4 inches by 12 inches. And then I'm going to be scoring that on my scoreboard. I didn't do that ahead of time. I thought we'd all do it together. But first we want to get our paper trimmer out here because we're going to cut off 2 inches off of this side, off of the right side. So I'm going to turn that around and cut off 2 inches. Let me make sure, yeah. 2 inches from the right side. I didn't put that in my instructions there. So you want to save this piece. Don't throw it away. We're going to be using that in a minute here. Okay, we'll turn this back around. We'll bring our scoreboard over here. And we'll start scoring that. So when you're using designer series paper, make sure you don't press too hard because you can go through the paper. So we're going to do a light touch on this. And let me get my measurements here. We're going to score it first at 3 inches. 4 inches. 5 inches. 6 inches. 7 inches. 8 inches. So it's every inch that we're doing this. And again at 9 inches. Let me check my 8-inch line there. I thought I moved. No, I'm good. Thought my tool moved on me. All right, we'll set that out of the way. And now we're just going to accordion fold these. So I'm going to start at this end and start folding them back and forth in an accordion sort of way. And yeah, just looking at my original to make sure I was doing it right here. And then we're going to bring our score over here and make good crisp edges on these. I might open those up and do them. Just to give them a crisp edge and a good fold. Okay. So it's going to look like this on the inside of your card. And let me get back to my comments here. There we go. And now we're going to bring back our card. And okay, so that's, you want to find your center point, which would have 2 score lines, 2 score lines over. And I'm going to glue this down to the left-hand side. I'm going to bring my glue over here, my adhesive. And I'm just going to put glue on this area here. And then I'm going to set it fairly even edges going around. So about like this, probably about 1/8 of an inch edge all around on the 3 sides. And then I'm going to, trying to figure how I did my original. Okay, so you're going to put that all together again, and you're going to put glue just on this side. And I'm going to close up my card and attach that. So rub that a little bit to get it to fasten really good, because you're going to have a lot of movement in there. All right, and it will look like this when you're finished. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to start working on the outside of the card first, and then we'll come back to the inside. Pasty notes here. Okay, for the front side of the card, I've got a basic weight that measures 4 inches by 4 inches. That's going to go onto the front flap here. And then I've got a designer series paper to go along with that. I'm going to use this side of it, and this measures 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Yeah, 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches. It's going to butt up against that left side of our card front. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this down first to our left side. Get that out of our way. And I kind of cheated on this strip right here. What I did is I took our designer series paper that had the tags and the banners on it. Let me get that out and show you. Okay, so these, and I just cut it out and it's a perfect match, the right size. So that's a little extra tip, or you could use something else for it if you wanted. Okay, and now I'm going to bring over a scrap of paper to lay on my work surface here so I don't mess it up. Oops, I just dropped papers on the floor, but that's okay. We'll get them later. And I'm going to use my crumb cake ink pad and my blending brush. And I'm going to add a little color on there. I'm going to mute down my white is what I'm going to do. I'm using crumb cake. And this is one of our old stamp pads, but it still is working. I haven't ordered a new one yet. So, and I'm going to ink up that blending brush. Tap it off a little bit. And I want to get in the center more, so I'm not going to do the edges a lot. Just to tone down the white a bit. Tap it off to get rid of excess ink. So we're kind of dirtying the paper is what we're doing, I guess. I guess I'm going to go ahead and do the edges. I don't want that white so white. Just tone it down a bit. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Ours was good. Went out to lunch yesterday after church with some friends. That's always fun to do. All right, I'm going to get rid of that scrap paper for a little bit. And I'm going to bring my stamps over here. And I'm going to do that one, this one. This one. And this one on the inside. We'll wait with that one for a moment. And that's it. Okay. So I'm going to use my black Memento ink. This is my black Memento ink that I put into a craft white stamp pad. I like the surface of it better. It gives me a better image. All right. And I've got a scrap of white here that we're going to stamp our cat on. So let's go ahead and stamp him first. I think I just inked up my stamp pad here, so it's got a lot of ink in there today. Looks good. And then I want to do my sentiment. We'll set our cat aside for a moment. We'll come back and color him with our Stampin' blends. So no tricks, all treats. We're going to stamp up here in the upper right-hand corner. And we'll add some bats. I'm going to wait with those. I think I'm going to do my houses first. I need to grab a pumpkin pie here. We're going to stamp 3 pumpkins. 1, 2, and 3. That's all the stamping on that for now. Okay, this is going to go on the front of our cards. We'll go ahead and attach that. Grab our glue again. We're going to attach that. I'm just going to scooch that over. All right, that's all down. And next we're going to, let's go ahead and color our cat. And I'm going to be using a variety of blends here. I've got our gray granite, granite apple green, daffodil delight, pumpkin pie, and our petunia pop. And then I've got our dark petal pink for his nose and his ears. So let's go ahead and start out with our gray granite. We're going to do the cat first. So I'm going to start with the dark gray granite, and I'm just going to add a little color to his ears. And give him some shadows here. And I'm going to color his nose with the dark gray granite. Add a little shading on his paws. And his little feet here with the dark gray granite. And I'll come back in with the light gray granite and do some blending here. Blend that in a little bit. Color his paws with the light. And do his tail. His or her tail. It might be a girl. All right. And then we'll come back with our Petunia pop, the dark. And we'll do his shirt, her shirt. And I'm just going to give some shading here. All right, now the light Petunia pop. And then we're going to do, I guess it is a girl. It's wearing a skirt. So I guess it is a girl. We're going to do the pumpkin pie. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the dark pumpkin pie and do my shading. Light pumpkin pie. That was on there tight. Had to pull a little harder. Okay, now we're going to color her stockings. And I'm going to do the light granny apple green for the first stripe. And the dark daffodil delight. And the light granny apple, or the dark granny apple green for the next layer. So I started with the light granny apple green, and then the last one is going to be the light granny apple green. So let me bring my dark petal pink over here, and we're going to do her ears, the inside of her ears, and the tip of her nose. And I'm going to bring my Granny Apple Green over here again because I've got some stripes in here I want to cover with that. And across the little pail, treat pail there. Okay. So then we die cut that out, and I've already done that ahead of time. There she is. And we're going to set her right there for now. And I die cut our basic black cardstock, and I put adhesive strip behind it so I don't have to worry about trying to glue that down. So I've already done that ahead of time. Let me take that off of there. And I already die cut our house out. And I cut out another one, and then I trimmed it down so it can fit behind the front side of our house. So we show yellow through it. So I'm going to line that up. And we'll attach that. So let me add some glue to the edges. And turn that over and set it down on there so that the yellow shows through, but it doesn't come out the front side of the black. So there we have that. So I'm going to place that over on this side. And I'm going to try to do a dry fit here in position where I want it. I think right there is good. I didn't put that up on glue dots. I just glued it directly down. I mean, dimensionals, not glue dots. So you could use dimensionals if you wanted to have it lifted up a little bit. And I'm going to put it down a little bit so we have room for our bats to be stamped up here. All right. And then we'll put down our fence. How about that excess? I tried to do some of the prep work ahead of time to save a little time, so it wouldn't take me so long to make the card. All right, put that backing off of that. And I'm going to place this down towards the bottom. And I was thinking I put her on dimensionals, but I didn't. So let's go ahead and glue her down. The camera there. Guess I should have put it down lower. Let's put her down first, and then we'll put the fence down. Okay. Well, we can go clear to the edge here. There we go. And then we're going to bring over our cut and emboss machine, our mini, and we're going to die cut our pumpkins out that we've already stamped. And give me the dies. It's good because they give you 2 dies to cut out the pumpkins. So you can cut 2 at a time. So it saves a little time. Here's the house one. I didn't show that die. I didn't cut these out ahead of time. And let's take here some top plate on there. I'll run that through. I still got the squeak. Gotta get my husband to fix that, I guess. Oil it or something. Here's one pumpkin. Here's the other pumpkin. And now we'll just die cut one more. Hope you can't hear my stomach. It's growling or something. I had my oatmeal this morning. Well, I think that might have moved. It did move. Let me try this again. Okay. Put that down securely. Close up our machine. Set it aside. And here's our last pumpkin. And here we are. Don't lose my diamond. Put that in there. All right. So here's our 3 pumpkins. We'll go ahead and attach those. So I'm going to place down my pumpkins at the bottom here. We've got our pumpkins lined up in a row. And then I'm going to place one in front of the fence. Okay. And now we can stamp our bat with our black memento ink. And we're going to hover over the house. Oops. Okay, there we are. A little smudge there, don't look at that. Maybe it's a shadow of another bat that's flying around. All right, and now we're going to add our ribbon, which is, this is one of our new ones too. It's in that suite, the Petunia Pop Iridescent ribbon. And it's sparkly. I hope the camera's picking it up. But we're going to put just a small strip here. And I'm going to use my tear and tape to attach that with. So let me grab that. I've got some skinny tear and tape here. That'll work really good. And I'm not going to go the whole width of it, length of it. I'm just going to put it in the center. And not even measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And ribbon fibers here, and we'll cut that. Take off that strip off of that tear and tape. And lay our ribbon down on top of that. And I need to trim those up a little bit, a little shorter. And then I want to just tie a full bow, so I'm just going to make a tie it once. Trim off that excess. Grab a mini glue dot to attach that with. And put that in the center. And I'm going to kind of maneuver my ribbon so they're both the same direction. Yeah, doesn't want to. Okay, just stay that way then. All right. And next we're going to add some of our foam stars. These are also non-line exclusive. It is called Shimmer Star Foam Stickers. And these come in the 3 colors. We've got white, Petunia Pop it looks like, and then basic black. And we're going to use the Petunia Pop colors. So I'm going to start out with a variety here. I'm going to use all 3 sizes. So I'm going to put the large one here. Give me a medium size. I'll go right there, and then a small. We'll put up here. Okay, put those back in there. Well, I don't have all of them in there. Well, we'll worry about that later. Fix it later. All right, so here's the outside of our card. No tricks, all treats. Never got to finish the inside. So we've got another basic weight, and this one measures 4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then we've scored it in the center at 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to fold that on that score line, and we'll burnish that fold score. And you're going to put this inside the card. It'll go kind of butted right up against that other layer of designer series paper that we left that gap there. So I'm going to do my stamping first. So let me do that. And let me kind of lay that flat so I don't have issues with my stamping. I'm going to put "Don't Worry, Eat Sweets." Ink that up with our black memento ink. And then I'm going to try to center that over that fold line. So I'm going to put it right about there. Looks good. We'll close that up and we'll grab our Petunia Pop. Did I get that stamp pad out? No, I didn't. Let me grab an ink pad. Not prepared. Petunia Pop right here. We put it away. And we're going to add some stars. I guess it's stars. And I'm going to place one at each corner. Mind the camera? Yeah. And one at this side. That was Petunia Pop. All right, now we can burnish that fold line again. And we're going to just put glue on this side. That over here. Well, first, let's go ahead and attach that 2 inches that we cut off. It's going to go, well, we'll go ahead and attach this first. Change my mind. Trying not to get glue all over my fingers here. And I want to line that up so that our edges are fairly even. So it'll open like that. So we're going to put this layer on top. So I'm just going to add my glue to this flap. And I don't have to worry about getting glue outside my paper. And I'm going to center that, get this all even. Scooching that down just a little bit. There we are. I think it shifted on me a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. And you might have to keep persuading those to close for you because they haven't broken the fibers yet. But there's the inside of our card. It says, "Don't worry, eat sweets." And our outside of our card. Okay, so that was I think that's a real cool fun fold I hadn't seen before. So I'm going to thank Rachel Tasman for that. I appreciate that. That's really cute. All right, so let's get on with our second card. We'll kind of clean up our stamps here first, real quick. Get my Simply Chamois over here. Get the job done. I guess I got enough water in there. I splattered water. This is our Simply Chamois. It works wonderfully. All of it is just water in here. You rinse it out, wring it out, and it's good to go. No chemicals, no solutions at all, just plain house water. Doesn't get any simpler. All right, I'm just going to clean off all these stamps because I'm not sure which ones I'll be using next, if I use all of them or not. But I'll have the housekeeping part done. And her pumpkin. All right, so let's get with our next one, our next card. I've got 2 fun folds today. I don't know how I worked that. All right. Get some things out of my way here so I can see what I'm doing. You wouldn't believe what my desk looks like. It's funny, we can start out so clean and tidy, and it doesn't take long to mess it all up again. So I've got a lot of the prep work done on this one, so it shouldn't take us long. Okay, so this is using that. This was the panel. This background is the panel that was missing here. So it makes the card really fast and simple that way when you just use that for our backing. Okay, so we've got Happy Halloween, and we've got the little hippo that's all wrapped up like a mummy. And then on the inside, it said, "No tricks, all treats." Okay, so let's get with this one. We're starting out with our basic gray card base, which measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the center at 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and burnish that fold. And our card is going to be horizontal. It's going to be the portrait way. And then we've got a layer of basic black, which measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. Let me take these measurements off of here. Get them out of our way. We don't need those anymore. We're done. All right. Okay. And then we've got our designer series paper, which I cut out of that sheet like I showed you. And this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And that's going to go on to our basic black. So we can go ahead and attach that. And leaving a tiny edge going all around it. Just making sure I'm even all around. It looks good. Okay. Now that can be attached to our card front. And bring our card over here, place that down, leaving another small edge going around. All right. You can set that aside. And I'm going to have to cut another fence. I thought I cut that out ahead of time. I guess I didn't. All right, so we're going to fix up our basic black here. We're going to add some adhesive sheets to that. And this is adhesive sheets that you can get in my store. And then I just need a small strip here. Let me see what I've got in here that I can make work. That one will work. We're going to add that to the back of our sheet here, our basic black. And oops, cut off this excess. And throw that in my trash for now. I've got the glue all over my finger. All right, so let's bring our die back over here, our fence. And we're going to line that up so it's catching where the adhesive sheet is. Looks good right there. And I'll grab my tape here to hold it in place so it doesn't move on me. Bring our mini machine back over here. Still got glue on my fingers. Rubbing it off. I'm sticking to everything. And we'll run that through. Lights out of the way. Okay. Pop our fence out of there. And this is going to go right across here. So I'm going to take off the adhesive backing and yeah, put a little higher. There we go. Oops, I bent that one. All right. And then I've already punched out our hippo. I switched sides on this one, so we're going to put our fence over the other side. We've got the hippo facing both directions. So I'm going to add her to this side instead. down. I want to place her up on dimensionals, so I'm going to use my Stampin' dimensionals and my Take Your Pick tool to add those. And right there. And she's going to stand on this side, make sure she's done upside down. I almost put her upside down. All right, and I think right about there looks good. And then we're going to grab some basic gray cardstock and we're going to heat emboss with white embossing powder onto that, our sentiment, Happy Halloween. So let me bring my toolkit over here. Got our white embossing powder and our toolkit, which I'm going to wipe it out a little bit to get rid of any dust that might be in there. And my embossing buddy to wipe off any oils that might be on there that's come off of my fingers. And our Versamark ink. And our Happy Halloween sentiment. And we're just going to ink that up with our Versamark ink. And I want to make sure I get enough, so I do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure. Okay, and we're going to stamp that onto our cardstock. Let that sit for just a moment. Put your lid on your Versamark pad so you don't get embossing powder in there. And we'll bring our tray back over here and dump on our white embossing powder. And I do this a couple of times. I want to make sure it's got good coverage. Yeah, let's do it 3 times. Just to be sure. 3rd time's a charm. All right. And we'll clean that up later. So let's set that where it's not going to get blowed all over the place. And bring our heat gun over here. Heat up a bit. Camera view here so you can see what I'm doing. Heat embossing always amazes me. It's like magic. It doesn't take very long once the gun is heated it. You don't want to overheat it because it could burn your embossing powder and make it dull. You want it to stay shiny. So here we have a Happy Halloween. And we're going to take our paper snips and we're going to fussy cut that. So I'm going to cut this down smaller so I can work with it better. Stampin' Up! No longer carries the paper snips. The manufacturer of them is not doing them anymore, so they're looking for somebody else to do them, make up paper snips for us. So we haven't heard an update on it yet. These are wonderful scissors. They're really sharp and they're a good size to use. They're not big and bulky, easy to get into small areas. So I hope they come up with something fairly close to what these are. Okay, so we cut that out, fussy cut it, and we're going to place that at the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm just going to use my glue to attach that. And center it on our bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so far. And now we're going to bring our stars back over here, and we're going to add some of those. We're going to add the black ones this time. I take your pick tool to do that with. And I'm going to use a large one right there, and a medium size for the top here. And another large one. We're going to have 2 large and 1 medium size. So I think I'm going to move that over. Maybe right there. Okay, so there's the front of the card. How simple that was. And on the inside, we've got our basic white cardstock. I guess I did cut out one. I didn't know I did. We'll use that for an extra later. Okay, and the inside is going to be just stamped on. So we're going to stamp again. No tricks, just no tricks, all treats this time. So that's going to be our sentiment. With our black Memento ink pad. And I'm going to put it centered, but kind of lower than you might think. I'm going to have it more in the center, or the upper third part of it. And we need our little bats again. And I'm going to stamp those right up here. And I'm going to switch our ink pads, and we're going to use our Petunia Pop again. And place some of those all around here. And some more over here. And now we're going to attach that to the inside of the card. Center that. All right. Whoops, I just messed up my fence there. Here we go. So happy Halloween, and no tricks, all treats on the inside. So that's our second card. Clean up a little bit here and get on to our third one. Which is another fun fold. We've got 2 fun fold cards today. Instructions for that out of the way. My crash here, get that out of my way. Make room for incoming here. And this is just an offset gatefold card, is what it's called. And I got this idea too off of a video which Wendy Cranford put up. I know I've done some gatefold cards, but this is a little bit different. And we've got our doggy one this time. We did the cat before. This is the dog. Spooky. And then it opens and opens again. Happy Halloween. Don't worry, eat sweets on the inside. And we're using the Designer Series paper again as our focal point. And We're going to start out with our basic black cardstock, which measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And instead of scoring it in the middle, we're going to be scoring it at, let me get my score lines here, at 3 1/2 inches and 9 inches. So 3 1/2 and 9 inches. Let's be this way. Didn't think that looked like 3 1/2 inches. 3 1/2 inches and 9 inches. And we're going to go ahead and burnish those fold lines while we've got the card base here. And do both of those. And okay, so I've got some layers. I've got paper pumpkin. I've got pumpkin pie. And then I've got our designer series paper. And this one, our pumpkin pie measures 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And then our designer series paper measures 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And we're going to go ahead and attach that to that pumpkin pie layer. Okay, so how many of you send out Halloween cards? I know we do Christmas cards and birthday and thinking of you and all that sort of stuff, but how many of you do the Halloween cards? Mail them out to your friends or just hand them out? Postage has gone up, it's going back up again, so it's going to put a damper on our mailing maybe. I don't know. It keeps getting higher and higher. All right, I'm going to open that so I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to place that down. Make sure I'm even on all 4 sides. That looks pretty good. And then I've got, for our other side, we've got another pumpkin pie, which is 1 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And then our designer series paper that is cut off that edge. And this one measures 1 1/2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So we're going to layer that onto our pumpkin pie. Usually my husband's out there mowing when I'm doing my lives, but we got quite a bit of rain last night, so he guess he can't mow. It's too wet. So that's good. We don't have to listen to the mower running or weed eater. Okay, now this is going to be attached to our flap on that right side. I can hang on to it. And we're going to center that even with the other side. And scooch that just a little bit over there. Make sure we're lining up. That looks good. Okay, so here we are so far. And it opens like this. We're going to put a white layer on the inside, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I've got our basic black that I used our Stylish Shapes dies to cut out. I used these 2 dies right here. I used the larger one for the black and the smaller one for the white. And I've already die cut those out, so you don't have to watch me do that. Put those back in here so we don't lose them. Nothing worse than losing dies. Or misplacing them, I should say. A lot of times I misplace them and can't find them, and it drives me crazy. All right, so we're going to take this white layer, and I'm going to grab my scrap paper over here, and we're going to add a little basic beige to that one. And what did I do with my ink pad? Well, there it is, right beside me. It could have bitten. And grab our blending brush again. And add some ink to that. And we're going to tone down our white layer. You can put as much or as little as you want to. I think that's about right. Fix up that ink pad. Rid of our scrap paper here. And we're going to attach that to our black circle. I guess we're doing pretty good on time. Only been on here an hour. I usually run like an hour and a half, I guess. All right. So that's going to go on the front of our card, but let's go ahead and work on our little guy here. So we're going to stamp him with our black Memento ink. I must have just inked up my ink pad here because it's got an awful lot of ink on it now. But that's okay. And we'll close that up. Let me set him aside. We're going to do our sentiment first while that's drying a little bit. I've got a strip of basic white, and this measures a half inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. I'm not going to worry about the length of it, so we're going to be cutting that off anyway. So I'm going to stamp our sentiment, which says spooky, onto that using our black Memento ink. And center that. Well, it's not centered very well. Let's try it again at this side. Pull that down so I can see. And that's the problem. It's on white, and it's hard to see it. So I'm going to take it off camera here and do it on my plate. And that's coming out crooked too. Third time's the charm, maybe. Yeah, that looks better. And I could go ahead and do the inside too while we've got that. Let's get our inside layer is, what is it? It is, okay, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is Happy Halloween, in the upper left-hand corner. And then at the bottom, we're going to put Don't Worry, Eat Sweets. Just going to go the bottom off to the right side, bottom right corner. And we'll throw in some bats there too, just because. And we'll put those flying in this corner, the upper right-hand corner. So we've got all our stamping done now, I think. So we can close up our ink pad. And somehow I managed to get ink on my fingers. Okay, so we can go ahead and put this on the inside of our card. We're done with that. All right. press that down inside of our card, matching up my edges. It'll look like this now. And let me go ahead and color our little feller here. Put my cap on my glue for a little while. And bring our blends back over here. And we're going to color him. We're going to do the granny apple green for his face. And I'm going to start out with the dark granny apple green. One's a light, dark. And do some shading. Mine I can't remember, yeah. And I'm going to do this a little darker right there. Okay. And the apple green, light. Just pause there a little bit, and it's got a thumb right there. And then we're going to use pumpkin pie, the light and the dark for his shirt. Oops, I gotta bring that green back over here. Granny apple green, we forgot his neck area there. Turn him upside down here so I can work with him a little easier. All right, and a light pumpkin pie. Finish off his shirt. Bring that in a little bit. And Petunia pop for his pants. The light and the dark. And start with the dark. Starting to get warm in here. Guess I should have turned my fan on. I thought I did. I've only got it on low, I guess. And we're going to do the sucker with the Petunia pop. And do the center of that with the dark Petunia pop a little bit. Do a little shading. And next we're going to use our Daffodil Delight for stockings. And dark gray granite. We're going to do the little knobs that are in his neck. I'm not sure what they're called. One there and one there. I'm going to start out with the dark and the light Daffodil Delight. The stripes on his stockings. One dark and one light Daffodil Delight. All right. Put those aside. Now we'll grab our dies, which are where? Somewhere in my mess here. Oh, goodness gracious. Where did I put the dies? The paper. Well, all right, they're underneath all my junk here. Like I said, I've got a mess. All right. And did we have our washi tape there? Let me grab that off of there to use it. Yeah, center that die on top of him. Bring our machine back over here. Cutting plates. Okay, we're almost done here. Just finishing up. Got to do something about that squeak. Plates out of our way. I'm just throwing everything in a pile over there. I wonder I lose things. Okay, there's our little guy. And I'm going to place him on dimensionals. Did I? Take a pick tool to get that off. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of him. And I'm just going to let him sit there for a moment while we get the other things that go on there. We've got 3 bats that we've die cut out of our basic black. And I already got the adhesive sheet behind them already. And these are using the bat dies right here. There's 2 of them. So I die cut twice and I'm using 3 of them. So I had an extra left over. So let's go ahead and place those. I'm going to do a dry fit here. And we'll start attaching our bats first. And one right there. One there. And This one doesn't have adhesive on it, so I'm just going to put a little bit at the bottom of his tail. I guess his body, his tail, right there at the tip. And that's just going to sit right above our little guy here with the wings hanging over. Okay, and we're going to attach that to our circle. And I'm going to attach that to our card front now. You want to make sure you only put glue on this right side, so get them positioned how you want them. And I'm just going to hold my fingers there so I don't get any glue on the side that I don't want. I'm just going to add a little glue just to that area, and then I'm going to place that down. I'm going to open this up and place it down. Look at the back side, looks good. Make sure I don't have any glue seeping out of there where I don't want it to be. All right, and now we're going to snip this down. Where's my paper snips? Are right here. Spooky. And I'm going to add a little color to the spooky using just my blending brush that has ink on it yet. Will work just to tone down the white like I did with the other one. And then we're going to place that onto a strip of basic black, which measures I guess I don't have the measurement down there. It looks like it's probably, get the ruler, 5/8 inch. And then I'm just going to add this to it, and then I'll trim it down afterwards where I want it to be. So, a little glue on there. Attach that to our black layer. I'm going to snip off that edge. I did put that on dimensionals, okay. So bring my dimensionals back over here. We'll add those. I'm going to put 2 on there just to hold it in place right, and pop those backings off. And I'm going to put this at an angle. I'm not going to put it on there straight. I'm going to make it so it looks like it might be falling off the building or something. All right, and bring back our little stars here, and we're going to use the black ones. So again, I'm going to use one of each size, the large, medium, and small, and place them onto this. Oops, I think that turned over on me. And a tiny one can go right there. All right, so here's our card. Spooky. It opens this way, and then it opens again this way. Happy Halloween, don't worry, eat sweets. So here's our cards for today. Let me bring those all out here so we can see them. And this one. So that's our 3 cards today. We had 2 fun folds. These 2 are fun folds, and then a regular card. So can I fit them all in here? Let me bring this down. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed these. I know it's early for Halloween. We're not even thinking about it yet, but it's a little bit of a head start. I wanted to show it because it just came out in our online exclusives on July 1st. And our Halloween products are not going to be in our new mini catalog that comes out in September. All of them will be put onto our online exclusives. So this is just a sneak peek so far. I'm sure they'll be adding more here, probably next month, probably. I think we're adding online exclusives every other month. We get new ones. And they're available while supplies last. So if there's anything that you're really wanting, you want to make sure you get your order in. And I'd appreciate your business if you do. I'd be thankful for that. And I want to thank you for being here today and watching my videos, either on Facebook or YouTube, whichever platform you prefer. And so until next week, which will be Monday, July 21st, 2025, y'all have a good rest of your week and enjoy some crafting time if you're able to. So I'll see you next Monday, July 21st, 2025. Same time, same channels. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. Invite your friends.